'Tis the season. No, not Christmas, not quite yet. Don't get too excited. You've got a few shopping days left. But I asked Grok the other day what would be an ideal gift to give to a 21-year-old who's already bought himself everything he wants. And without exaggeration, number 7 on the list was a share of Tesla. Good job, Grok. Really towing the company line. Well, we're going to talk about the investment thesis generally. It's true, Randy. But I've got Randy Kirk here, and we are going to have a chat about all the madness in the market. This is Monday. This video will come out on Tuesday. So when I show you some things, don't get too excited. Time is linear and we cannot predict it. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So Randy, as of Monday, you may have seen some stories. This one, we'll start here. This is easy enough. Pretty flat, down 0.5%.
Yeah.
I do not fret over the daily minutia.
I see.
I know you don't as well.
Oh, no, I don't sweat it, but I have to report it.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't fret it. We just make hay.
Yes.
Has Tesla stock peaked? This is a little bit of fun from the fool. And if we're going to be talking about the fool, who better than two fools? Tesla's most recent earnings numbers showed a top line beat, but its bottom line was not impressive, Randy Kirk. The business is growing, but it may not be fast enough to justify the stock's hugely inflated valuation. So let me start there. The business is growing, just not fast enough.
Well, so see that what part of speech was that? Is growing. So a future participle? No, is that a present participle? Anyway, I can't remember, and my wife's an English professor. But anyway, so I'm really in trouble now. But I think that is growing implies exactly at this moment. It doesn't even imply past. It could imply future, but not past. So is growing. I think that the energy side of the business is growing quite rapidly, on the order of 50% a year, with really good earnings. And the car side, not so much, maybe not growing, but the margins weren't bad. And the earnings report that he's referring to, the big reason why it was disappointing were one-time items.
Yes, and I would argue that the reason the earnings were so good on the automotive side in 21, 22 was because of one-time upsides. Their vehicles coming back on lease were being sold as if they were new again. Instead of taking a little hit on those lease returns, they were getting a huge bonus. The stock is getting closer to its all-time closing record. It's getting closer to it, and we're still not happy. Fool, what are you doing? Shares have risen, but there's no denying it's also among the most expensive stocks, I assume, as measured by price to earnings.
Yep.
Investors often have to pay a significant premium to own a piece of the business. And on a year-to-date basis, it has risen in value by just more than the market. Is Tesla stock approaching a peak, or could it still have room to rise higher? Hey, if I told you you could get 9% returns guaranteed, you'd jump at that. Probably.
Would.
I mean,
everybody would want to get 9% guaranteed returns. There's no doubt about it. Yep.
Yeah. Tesla posted its third quarter results. Its revenue totaled $28 billion, which was better than analyst expectations of 26, showcasing a strong beat. So, but we're not happy about that, I guess. Its adjusted earnings per share came in at 50 cents, short of 54 that Wall Street analysts were looking for. Does this prove that Tesla's doing something wrong, or that Wall Street analysts are? Because if we beat on revenue, but didn't beat on earnings per share, we're off by almost 10%. Is that bad analysis?
Well, it could be, of course, if you really, really want to get into the argumentation, you could say, well, Wall Street just was overzealous. So it was their fault for being overzealous. But as I mentioned a minute ago, the real reason was about 15 cents in one-time items that won't repeat in future quarters, and that therefore we could look forward to gaining that 15 cents back even on the same numbers when those aren't in place.
So if those hadn't been there, or they had been even a little bit less than they were, Wall Street would have been off in the other direction.
Exactly. 100%.
Magic. The company's been facing increased competition. Is that true?
Yeah, well,
because
I would
because we're talking about that people keep saying, "Oh, there's more EVs." Right? It's a car market.
Yeah, well, it's total cars. You got to look at total cars. You also got to look at EVs. But in China, there's no doubt that the competition's getting better, especially Xiaomi or Xiaomi.
Uh-huh.
I never know
Xiaomi.
how Xiaomi. They
Xiaomi the money.
they definitely have a really nice car out there. I would say BYD is doing a fine job. That's probably it. There's nothing else really in China that I'm terribly concerned about. But in the meantime, the news was out this morning that all Model Ys in China are sold out through December. You have
Mhm.
to, if you go on there right now and place an order, you'll be getting it in January. So I think we're okay in China. It could be Europe. We've got more competition there, in particular, some of the Chinese models that are now coming to Europe. And yet in Norway, the car just set a record for the most cars sold in a year, a single car model, the Model Y, the most cars sold in a year, beating I don't know, 20-year-old record from Volkswagen. I don't remember. I could be wrong on the number of years ago that Volkswagen set the record.
So I think it's better than you think. It's actually a 2016 record, I'm pretty sure. More recent than that, but that's still not that recent.
Okay.
And it's not the model, it's the brand. I
Oh,
think Tesla, the brand,
okay.
has outsold the best brand.
Okay.
And they did it with 2 models instead of 5, 10 models, which is
Right.
probably what happened last time. And Berlin is still increasing production. They're still ramping into the second shift.
Mhm.
So China is going gangbusters. Europe, while some pockets are soft, others are not. I still keep having to deal with people who see headlines and don't have the time to dig deeper. Uh, Even yesterday afternoon, I had people saying, "Why aren't you addressing the huge collapse in Europe sales in October?" And I said, "I made that video this morning. It just ran like 5 hours before the one you're commenting on." It's because the delivery wave has resumed. The Juniper meant a big slowdown in shipping and deliveries. It meant the delivery wave has resumed. The cars are on boats. You can't sell them when they're still on the boat. So, just got to wait for them to show up. Once they show, we just had a record quarter and you're still telling me demand is off. Well, the IRA ended in one market, just
Right.
one.
Right.
Okay, let's
In the
get back.
United States and the United States market, we could come all the way around to the United States. There's no new competition in the United States. If anything, there's less competition. Whether or not we can hit the same numbers in the United States that we did in the third quarter, it's an outstanding question. I'm sorry, it's a question that's we can't answer yet because we really don't have any figures or facts to help us get there anymore. We got like nothing. We don't even have Troy Tesla right now giving an estimate. So it's
Mm,
like we're completely flying blind in the United States, except this. Except this. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
There are no specials. There are no deals. There are no discounts. In the United States, in Europe, or in China, nothing's at zero, which tells me that Tesla's at least happy with their current sales levels. And therefore, the vice president in charge of sales for Europe and the United States seems to be doing a good job. You know who that is, right?
uh, yeah,
Elon,
I think I saw him on a podcast the other day.
right?
Yeah. The car company's been facing increased competition, and that has been putting pressure on its margins. And that's true of not just the Chinese brands, the European brands are doing that. Its gross margin of 18% was down from 19.8. Hey, 18% is really good. I think only Mercedes and Ferrari have better margins.
Right.
Smaller margins can make it more difficult to grow. If you don't have cash, except they do. They have a mountain of it and almost no debt. While it has been launching more modestly priced vehicles in the wake of rising competition, that may not necessarily help its bottom line, except that they aren't really launched yet, except in the US. They've been announced in some other places, they haven't been delivered. If you look at all the other markets, if you look at Australia and China and Europe and say, we got another model coming. It's 5 grand cheaper than the 3 and 5 grand cheaper than the Y. And also we may have the model YL coming. It's 5 grand more and it's bigger. Uh, all of a sudden we're back in business and the people say, "Oh, Tesla hasn't introduced anything new in 6 years." It's like, wow.
So the Model Y performance is getting amazing reviews. Oh my goodness. I mean, we're talking about like road and track kind of reviews where you're like, these people never give Tesla a break. I could be wrong. It could have been another one like Road and Track. There's two or three of those old timey magazines. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, we're talking about some people calling it the best car ever made. it's,
Hmm.
it's so good. So I'm anticipating that Model Y and Model 3 performance will do well in the fourth quarter. Model Y only introduced a few weeks ago.
Well, so I don't know if you know this. In around 2009, I had a job reviewing cars for a time,
Hmm.
and there was a. I'm just trying to pull up a picture of it. The Dodge Magnum SRT8 was one of the cars we reviewed. We picked it up, we had it for a week, and it was fun. It was fun to drive. And it had, the high performance V8. And Patrick was, I don't know, maybe he would have been about 10 years old, 9 years old. And he's looking out the window. He's looking out. I'm like, what are you looking for? He goes, I hear thunder. I'm like, oh, that's us. We are the thunder. It's just low rumbling. I saw one of these on the street the other day and I wanted to determine, hey, how quick was that car? And I looked it up. It is slower than our rear wheel drive Model 3
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
because, of course, it is. Guys, we have three more articles to get through. We are just getting started on this. We've got a little bit more to cover. We're going to try and speed it up a little here. Hey, it's one thing to pay a premium for an incredibly fast growing business that looks to be on track to be much bigger in the future, but Tesla's revenue rose by just 12% last quarter. 12% in one quarter, Randy. And its core automotive revenue was only up by 6% in one quarter, Randy. Meanwhile, its net income was down a whopping 37%. Does any of this really matter?
Well, okay. So anybody that buys Tesla stock because of the automotive business or even the energy business at these levels is, in fact, a fool. We can go back to the
Hmm.
article.
Yes.
Nobody in their right mind would pay 200 times trailing earnings or whatever the number is today. For any stock that it makes hardware. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But if you happen to believe that it's now an AI company, which the president of the company or the CEO of the company says it is, and that they're going to be in the robotics business with two legs and four wheels, and that those two businesses might be the two largest businesses that have ever seen, ever been on the face of this green earth, well, then that you might want to pay a premium.
And if you don't want to pay a premium, I don't know what you're doing reading this article or watching this video, but I do have some really dedicated anti fans. It's wild. I'd steer clear of Tesla stock. Now, by the way, what we're going to be talking about next is going to be analysts who actually think that there will be a benefit and what Tesla executives have been doing to ensure that they are competitive. We will get to those. But this, according to consensus analyst price target of 381, the stock is due for a correction down 15%. How accurate are analyst targets?
Well, which day?
Dartboard accurate or
Well,
blindfold dartboard accurate?
wait a minute, which day? Because I get criticized because I'm always putting out price targets. My price target for the end of January is $600 for Tesla, but my price target was 750, and I changed it to 600. So Dan Ives, who we all love, he changes his price target all the time. Uh, I saw price targets jumping all over the place after the earnings call. So yeah, which day might be important to take into consideration if you're making your price target the day before something that you know is going to happen that's going to increase. Anyway, you get my point.
I very much get your point. Moving on, subscribe for the love of all that is holy. I beg of you, please subscribe if you think you are. People don't subscribe the way they used to. YouTube will not take me seriously until I hit 100,000. And really, I'm not sure if my family will take me seriously. So please subscribe. You can subscribe to Randy too. He's got a whole channel
A whole
in it.
channel.
A whole channel. Here's the list of analysts who think Tesla will benefit immensely from robotaxis, uh, and the list keeps growing. Uh, so, without going through the whole list, do you think this? what do they call it? The robo taxi thing. Now, I don't know. Does that have any value?
Well, okay, so there are a few smart people in the world who have, let's say, a reputation for being good at analyzing future stock values. There are people like Dan Ives. There are people like Ron Barron. There are people like Kathy Wood, although she was on the front page of I think Market Watch or something one year for having been the number one fund in the world in terms of value increase. But then she's had a couple of bad years since. But these people, Ron Barron, Kathy Wood, Dan Ives, and you can go down the
Gene
list,
Munster,
Munster, etc.
Cantor Fitzgerald's, Andre Shepard.
Yeah,
These
yeah,
are the ones that came up in this list. These are all well known, well understood, serious people.
that have had amazing track records in terms of getting it right. And then there's a guy named, I don't know, he's like considered to be the best entrepreneur ever in the entire world. And it's hard. You're hard pressed to find a failure in his background. I've written a couple of books about that.
I think if you're talking about that guy who has 130,000 employees but only one restaurant location,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can agree because that's too many people for one restaurant.
And how,
And they even said every department was involved. It's got to be chaos. I don't even know where you find parking.
yeah. So anyway, that particular guy, he says that the valuation for Tesla will be market cap will be $25 trillion,
Mm,
which would be, I think, $80,000 a share. Is that I do the math right?
I don't think that. I don't think so.
Is it eight
Uh,
thousand a share?
I
I'd have to ask. I'd have to
25
ask.
trillion, so it'd be 25 times whatever it is today, roughly. So, uh, yeah, it'd be 8,000 a share.
8,000 a share. Okay, is that right?
That sounds a closer. But there's this other investor who's had a history of being very right one time only, named Michael Berry, who is convinced that by Tesla increasing its market cap 7, 8x and giving Elon a tiny bit of that, that we will be diluted.
Yeah.
And I would argue that Michael Burry is already diluted.
Well, he was right once,
Yeah.
and and never again. I mean,
The
he's
problem is Michael Burry's working on the conclusion that under the assumption that a broken clock is right twice a day. And this is going to be it. This is the second time I'm right today. Michael, you're not a broken clock. You're a slow clock. You might be right once a week if you're lucky.
yeah.
Just the ticking is happening. It's just not at the right pace. We should mention here that investors shouldn't get overly excited just yet. And I would agree. Um, you have to understand if you want to beat the market, you have to understand something the market doesn't. That's what I felt that I had done in 2019 when I made my decision to invest 75% of my retirement, my IRA account, into Tesla. That worked out pretty well for me, but I
It
followed it
legit. It
obsessively.
did.
It did. It did work out pretty okay.
And I
But
think it's going to work out even better in the future.
I haven't sold it.
You might even be able to retire. Yeah.
Don't get my hopes up. Don't do it like that, Randy. No, my goal is to, you know, I think, like you, like many, I wouldn't stop working. I would just work in a way that's more fun.
Yeah. Well, there's
Uh,
nothing more fun than this. I've said that over and over and over again that I live on a golf course. I'm 77. I do this. I do more hours a day than when I was running my plastics company because
yeah,
it's so much fun. So, how much more fun are you planning to have, Brian?
I would if I've been asked if you won the lottery, what would you do? What would you do? Would you retire? Would you sit on the beach and sip margaritas? No, I would do this, but less of it
Ah,
at higher quality.
I see. Yes, yes.
And if I feel like sleeping in, I would sleep in. No, when that alarm goes off, I rush to my computer to meet with Randy Kirk. Does that sound like fun? In the comments, let us know. Tesla's ex global sales chief says Chinese EV makers use a super smart technique that even Tesla has applied to its cars. Do you have any guesses before we reveal?
I don't.
Yeah, teardowns.
Oh, terrible.
Good job, Business Insider. You cracked the code. Automakers are constantly learning from their competitors in China. Tesla is no exception. Former president of Tesla's global sales and marketing, who now sits on General Motors board. Okay. Told Binsider, don't drink the Binsider, by the way, you will get sick, has torn down Chinese EVs and that the lessons learned can be seen in some of Tesla's most popular models. Standard practice. Everyone does it. Oh, the Chinese are I made a video about Airsoft in Detroit buying a Atto 1, the BYD Dolphin, to tear it down. And people saying, uh, well, that's different. Normally it's the Chinese tearing down our cars. Nope, it's always been both. It's always been both. Everyone does it. Uh,
Everybody does.
when when the Model S came out, Ford bought one and tore it down. And I know because I'm friends with one of the engineers who was on that team. And before they could tear it down, they accidentally shorted the high voltage battery. And they're like, "Ugh, how do we fix it? Do we call warranty?" And they did. And a technician drove inside the Ford facility to see the car. Right. And they're like, hi. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll fix it. And they fixed it right there on the spot.
What the heck?
And then they tore it down.
Yeah, yeah.
It's under warranty.
Part of the game.
Part of the game. Everyone understands it. Another level of reusing, McNeil didn't name which Chinese EVs Tesla tore down, but said he'd seen BYD in China uh, take the technique of reusing parts to another level. And this doesn't sound revolutionary. The Chinese engineers are really disciplined about reusing the parts bin. That's pretty normal. If it's out of the customer's site, reuse it, save a ton of money. It's not unique. But yeah, they are distinctive in the degree to which they reuse parts down to the ancillary components of a vehicle, from the battery packs to the heat pumps and motors inside the car's seats. Right. Co- Correct. I mean, doesn't
I'm getting confused. He's talking about reusing. Is he saying use the same part in multiple different versions?
yes.
So Tesla's been doing that. Uh, and they've even made a big deal about it. It's been like a headline thing that they've been doing from day one. I think wasn't the Model Y like 60% of the same parts or 70%, something on that order?
When it originally debuted, it was supposed to be more like 80-90, but yeah, it was like 60 to 70%
Crazy.
reused parts. And GM does that too. You'll
Yeah.
see
Oh yeah.
Ford does that. The Ford GT has the same blinker as the Ford Escort because it works. It's a blinker. So I don't know.
Besides that, the regular automotive companies, the ones that have been the General Motors and Fords and Volkswagens of the world, they buy their parts out of a catalog anyway. So it's like
Mhm,
they may modify them, but they're basically going, "Oh, yeah, I like that one."
mhm.
So it's not like they're inventing most of the things that they're using.
All true. Guys, do me a favor, head over to Randy's channel, and when you're done with that, let us know. What did we miss? What did we misunderstand? In them comments, you got to tell us. Everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.